Welcome everybody to Strangest Species episode 45.
But
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Better than I thought. I thought we'd get to 4.5.
Well,
So 45 is not bad.
45 isn't bad. You're
I
right.
am your host, Mike Davis, here with your co-host, Ethne Davis.
Hello.
How goes it today?
Busy.
Today was busy, man.
Beautiful.
Holy crap.
Beautiful day, but busy.
Yeah, I think it was actually a record high here today.
Oh, really?
That's what the bottom of my computer told me at one point today.
Oh, well, there you go. It was gorgeous. So, first weekend of soccer games, I will take it because normally I'm wearing my parka jacket and boots and it's freezing.
Yeah, not oftentimes it's snowing, but it is possible that it could be snowing.
Well, it's more like, no, not usually snow, more like cold wind.
Not normally snow.
And rain.
2 years ago, it was snowing on opening day.
Right. But I mean, that's definitely not a common
But
trend.
it is normally much
Cold,
colder
much
than record
colder.
highs.
So
So it was super nice.
people
The
were
boys
like
actually,
in swimsuits.
Yeah. There were some
Scantily clad moms.
at the soccer game today. They were excited the sun was out.
Or
Like
something.
sun's out, guns out, only it wasn't guns. It was sun's out,
Other things out.
boobs out.
You said it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But good soccer games. We have two boys playing. One of our boys is really into it, and he had a really, really good game.
Mm-hmm.
3 goals, hat trick in about half the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then his coach said, "I'm sorry, buddy, but you have to play defense the rest of the game."
Yeah, you're not allowed to score
You're
anymore.
not allowed to score anymore. He's still young enough where that's a thing they do. And that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
At halftime, I went to talk to him. He's like, "Dad, next time I score, I'm going to do this." And he did this.
Kind of like the gritty, but like a celebration
Well,
dance.
no, it was a different one. It
Right.
was like this archery pose. And like, no, you're not going to do that, buddy.
You're not allowed to celebrate like
No.
that. It's
I was
like the
if you
NFL.
get paid millions of dollars, you can celebrate all you want. Until then, you're just going to score with
But
grace.
it's like the NFL. You're not allowed to celebrate, right?
Oh, you can now.
Oh, they've
They changed
it.
the rule 2 or 3 years ago, where now all celebrations are on the table.
Oh, poor Marshawn. Why didn't he have to play then?
I know.
He liked to celebrate and he would do it anyway.
He would. Well, his big thing that he always got in trouble for was grabbing his junk.
Oh.
The NFL didn't like him grabbing his junk.
Oh. Maybe can you still not do that then?
I don't know.
I mean, if that's part of your celebration,
Yeah,
is that okay?
maybe.
Huh. I wonder if Marshawn had a part of that.
Yeah, Marshawn was the best.
He fought against all the things.
Yeah, if you don't know who we're talking about, go Google or YouTube Marshawn Lynch,
The Skittles guy.
running back for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the best.
He was the best. He's pretty funny. And he just
Awesome
didn't
guy.
care about all the
He cared about nothing.
but football
Yeah.
and Skittles.
And Skittles.
But he's great. So
Funny dude. So yeah, we had that going on today. We're in the process of maybe buying a new car.
Yeah.
Trying to buy a new car.
you guys, I hate buying a new car. I don't know if people
No
out there
one
love
likes
it,
buying
but
new cars.
I feel like there could be like a consultation business for like, you're the car shopper. You know what
That's
I mean?
actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want to spend. Go buy me the car.
Yeah. And then they take a,
And then
3%
you just-
cut or
It's like
whatever.
Uber car.
Uber car.
But instead of like driving, they just go buy you a car and bring it to your house.
Uber car purchase.
Yeah.
Purchasing. Anyway, I really hate it. I despise it. That's why I've probably put it off for so long, even though I've been wanting to do it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
We think we got the car we want.
yep.
They're holding it for us. We've been approved.
Yep.
We have to
It's-
go do the paperwork tomorrow. But hopefully,
It's just the
because we've
semantics
been
of the old
approved
car.
and all that, hopefully it goes a little quicker
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
All of that.
all that.
Blah. Anyway.
But I think it'll be nicer because it's already half done.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes you show up and then it's like,
You have all this stuff to do.
yeah. And these guys are really cool. I was impressed
Yeah.
so far.
Well, this person, we've been there before and it hasn't been that cool.
But
So I
even
think it
his
depends
manager seemed cool.
Yeah. Depends on the rep.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
Well, anything else going on? We had a bunch of. Did you guys know turkeys fly up into trees?
oh yeah, we had a bunch of
We
turkeys.
had 8 turkeys in our backyard, but all up in trees.
Yeah.
We have a ton of turkeys in Spokane, but we've never seen them in our property before.
Well, and like up that high.
They were up
But
good 40 feet
They
or
were
so.
kind of all around our chickens. And so I thought maybe they wanted to be their friends or they wanted to be their I don't know. So there was that. And then immediately after all the turkey shenanigans, there was a giant owl in the tree that we saw.
The owl's always been here, but
The
now
owls
he's
live there, but he's
starting
getting closer again to our chickens. So I'm
But
like,
where he lives, they're starting to develop some houses. So I wonder if he's getting angry and
he's
moving out
in.
a little bit because
I never thought about that.
his habitat's being
But they didn't knock
infringed upon.
right, but they didn't knock down his tree. Like I know where their nest is. Anyway.
But he probably doesn't like the excavator right next to him.
Oh
either.
no, he doesn't. Or she. It could be a she.
No, it's a dude.
Well, the thing is, they mate for life. They're like
But that big
birds.
giant one's a dude.
You have no idea.
That's a dude.
Okay. The birds of prey mate for life, in case you guys didn't know. And so this owl couple are here.
Owls birds of prey?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know they eat things. I didn't know if they officially fell in the category of birds of prey.
I mean, I'm no birdologist.
Ornithologist.
I'm no ornithologist, but I'm willing to bet. So, gas prices are going way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like way up.
That'll be exciting.
There's a lot of...
I can't wait for a $9 gallon of milk.
Oh, yes, I can't wait. I mean, things that I'm looking forward to in life, that is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Pretty exciting.
Oh, definitely. Oh, our daughter had her birthday party today. Super cute group of kids.
What is where one friend's dad call them?
I don't know. Call what?
Their little group of friends. He calls them like cute nerds or something like that.
Oh, I don't even know. They're really, they're not even. They're really sweet kids. I
sweet
taught
kids.
them Ramoli, which is more of a British, I think.
I had definitely never heard of it.
Yeah,
till I met you.
Commonwealth thing. So that was really fun. Some were definitely picking it up better than others. And we fed them, and then they're dancing their lives away right now. So it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's about all.
I think that about sums up our lives.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, if you care to know.
I'm interested in what you're doing.
I'm talking to them, not you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right.
So, as always, Ethne has no idea what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes.
Hopefully right now.
Right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I have no idea.
And so, with that being said, what's the worst thing you've ever lost?
Oh, gosh.
Being put on the spot here.
Yeah. So the worst thing I've ever lost would be, have I ever I've misplaced I think my wedding ring. Like I couldn't find it for a while, but I knew I had put it somewhere safe. But like that heart
I've
wrenching.
never lost your wedding ring.
How about
You've had
my wallet?
So you've had your purse stolen.
I've had my purse. No, but I've lost my wallet. That is the worst feeling.
I remember one time you
Yep.
left your wallet in a shopping cart
Yep.
at Target or Winco or somewhere.
Yep. I did. I was winning.
Yeah.
That's the land of little small children and lots of stress. But yes, I did.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about the same question for myself, and I
it
don't
was
know what I
definitely
would
my
answer.
wallet.
It's funny. I am extremely laid back, like almost to a fault, but I am crazy OCD about my wallet.
Like in one day, he will touch his pocket that his wallet is in or whatever device is carrying his wallet like 200 times.
Yeah. But I never lose it.
But it's also subtle. Like you're not going to think he's kind of, some crazy person. But I mean, if you really paid attention, it's
all the time.
All the time. Like we will get into the car and we will have our passports in the glove box. And then he'll be like, get in the driver's seat and be like, I need you to just check the glove box. I'm like, okay, but they don't move. Like they don't have feet. They're not like children. It's not a pet. They don't move. So I check it again. Which I'm like,
We've come a long way. I don't know how many years we were married before I let you carry the passports when we flew places.
That's true. And I actually don't mind. I'm like, yeah, you take the passports. It's whatever. I'll let you
When I used to play
own that.
basketball and we would travel, I would
Check your shoes.
Yeah, I'd open my bag like 4 times on the bus just to make sure my shoes were still in there.
Which is so hilarious because, again,
And my
shoes are
uniform.
like a passport. They cannot get up and run away. If you've seen them in there once, I think you're safe.
One would think so.
Now, if you have gone and done something and you left and came back, then it makes more
I
sense.
haven't even left my seat. Haven't gone to the bathroom, haven't anything.
This is like a little tiny OCDism.
but just with very specific things.
which is great.
So I don't lose those things, but I can't think of anything big.
I would definitely say wallet, going back to your question. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have lost some of our children, but not forever.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that was the worst feeling in the Cleveland, where were the music?
We're at a museum. I don't remember
It
what
was the
museum
one
it
with
was.
the elevators. It was the music.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. And so it's like something happened and they got into the elevator before me. The doors closed so quickly and it was going up. Like they pushed the buttons and they were going and I didn't know where they were going. That was terrible. And they were little.
Well, that's one thing.
But that wasn't like losing my kids, but that was the worst feeling.
Well, so what happened is we were on the second floor. You and I got on the escalator to go down to the first floor, and the kids got in the elevator. And we're like, oh, we'll meet them. Or maybe it's the other way around. They were going
one
up.
of us, I would not let them go by themselves.
No, they totally went by themselves. Because when the door opened, only our daughter was in the elevator. And we're like, well, where is your brother? And she was like, he went with the man. And then we freaked out. We're like, well, what man?
But I wouldn't have let them go that little by themselves.
Well, then you're going to have to explain to me why they were by themselves.
That's because I didn't get in time and the door closed.
Oh, well, maybe. Either way.
Yeah, that's why.
That's not how I remember it, but either way.
Yeah, that's totally how it was. Because they were just pushing buttons and I was just like, I think turning around to talk to someone really quick and tell them where I was going. And then the door was closing and I couldn't. Okay. And then we freaked out when we finally found her and whatever level she went to. And then Lincoln was gone.
Yeah. But he got back.
It was terrible. Anyway.
Something in my eye.
So,
he went with a worker, not with some random person.
yeah, someone, which I still don't understand why he probably just got off when the door opened, didn't even think about it. And then the door probably closed again. 2. Right. And then the door probably closed again. And then Vienna didn't have time. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It was wild, but just a wallet. Okay.
Yeah. I also lost Lincoln one time night skiing, but I found him again.
Oh, that's good. Did he lose you or did you lose him?
Yeah, it's true. He probably lost me.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't listening appropriately. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about things being lost today, but not wallets or children. Things that are a little bit bigger.
Okay. Let's do this.
Yeah. We're going to talk about what do you think would happen if the United States of America lost a nuclear bomb?
Oh, I mean, I guess it depends on where they lost it. That would be the biggest thing. It's like if you lost it in some bunker and you have no idea which bunker or something, sure, whatever. If you lost it in a potentially threatening country or whatever, that would be terrible.
Yeah. Do you think the U.S. has ever lost a nuclear warhead?
I'm sure they have.
Well, they have lost 6 nuclear warheads.
Yeah. I mean,
that we know of.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So we're going to go through some of those events.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So January 24th, 1961. A B-52 bomber. Not the band. That is the B-52s, right?
I have no idea.
Love Shack? Is that B-52s? Sounds right.
I don't know.
I'll have to come back to that. But anyways, B-52 bomber. It's flying on a routine mission that they used to do all the time, where they always wanted, the U.S. always had, this was secret, you know this at the time, 12 nuclear bombs in the air at all times.
In the air?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Ready to strike, attack if they had to. They were up and ready to go.
Right, so but you would run out of gas flying.
Well, they can refuel them in the air.
That seems zealous.
Overzealous, one might say.
Yeah, overzealous. Okay.
So, but that's what they were doing. And this plane was flying around. Just, what a boring job. Just flying around. No destination. Just flying giant holding patterns around the U.S. Just in case you have to go drop a bomb on Russia.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Sounds boring. Anyways, as they're flying, one of their engines has a gas leak.
That sucks.
And they're like, oh, that's no good. But not a big deal, like we'll get to an Air Force base and we'll land and so be it. Well, within 3 minutes, the plane realizes they've lost 37,000 gallons of fuel.
Whoa.
Which sounds like a lot to me.
That's a lot.
I am not a pilot. I've never flown a flying fortress, but it sounds like a lot of fuel.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot.
I also think it'd be funny. What if you're on the ground and you're the one who's like, it's raining jet fuel?
I feel
what
like
is
it
happening?
wouldn't it evaporate before?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how jet fuel works.
I don't either. You're just so high up, and then it's also gas evaporate. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So he knew it was an emergency, the pilot, and he knew they needed to land as soon as possible. And the plane was ordered to land immediately, but it was too late. At about 10,000 feet, the plane began shaking so violently that the pilot couldn't control it. And so he ordered the crew to eject. And they don't eject like a fighter plane, but they put on their parachutes and jump out.
Right.
So now we've already, what's on the plane, but guess what's on the plane, Ethne?
Like a bomb.
2 4-megaton nuclear bombs. Oof. So those bombs, well, we'll get to those bombs in a second. So at about 8,000 feet, so the guys jump out at 10,000 feet. However, I think it's like 5 crew members or something. They jump out. At 8,000 feet, the plane explodes.
Because it's
got a gas leak.
Oh.
Something ignites it.
Would that detonate a nuclear weapon if it explodes?
So, no.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I feel like we would know about this.
Right. So it drops both nuclear bombs on North Carolina.
Oh, dang.
Both unexploded nuclear bombs fall on North Carolina. Now
like even they don't explode upon impact or anything?
Well,
that's pretty impressive.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Each one of these bombs, guess how big these nuclear bombs are?
Like in actual size or weight? 100 pounds? 200 pounds? I have no idea.
12 feet long, 10,000 pounds.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
12 feet long?
Yeah.
Why?
Big bombs.
Dang.
So each one of these bombs was equivalent to about 3 million tons of TNT.
Jeez.
So you think about like our TNT that blew a hole through Phineas Gage's head.
Mm-hmm.
These were a lot bigger than that.
To say the least.
Yeah. So, now no one, you gotta remember, this is
61?
1961. There's no internet.
Oh, yeah.
There's no anything. These bombs fall, or this plane explodes in the skies above rural North Carolina. So on the ground, the locals are in total shock.
Well, would they be getting debris?
It's nighttime.
Yeah.
They see this flying one-winged
plane,
flaming B-52, and B-52s are huge.
Right.
Huge
right.
planes.
Mm-hmm.
Flying across the sky, crash, explode. Almost immediately, the government sends out helicopters with guys on megaphones yelling at everybody, ordering them to evacuate by order of the U.S. government. And so you would assume you're like being invaded. You don't know what's going on.
That would be wild.
Yeah. So what happens to the bombs? That's the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, bombs have parachutes.
I think I knew that.
Yeah. So the
I feel
first
like I
ones,
have images in my mind of like World War I or even something, bombs with like parachutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the first parachute, the first bomb's parachute deployed, and it floated as it should to the ground, and got tangled up in a bunch of trees as it went through. It still hit the ground hard enough that it buried the nose, 18 inches into the ground. So it's dangling in these trees, 1.5 feet into the ground, but it's still 10.5 feet above the ground.
Jeez.
This nuclear warhead.
Okay.
Just sitting there. Luckily, didn't have much external damage.
Okay.
Can you imagine being like taking Maple for a walk?
Oh.
And you're just like, oh, there's a giant bomb sitting here.
That would be weird. Well, I would also think at that weight, it would annihilate those trees. But I guess with the parachute, slowing it. But even then, that is a very heavy piece of equipment to slow down. I mean, that's not a human. That is so many humans.
10,000 pounds is a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't blow up, obviously. It's sitting there. And not much external damage to it.
Okay.
Woo, good. On the inside, though, is a totally different story. So each bomb has 4... what's the word I'm looking for? 4 safety switches that have to be activated for the bomb to detonate.
Okay.
Now, in theory, obviously, none of these had been detonated because they wasn't supposed to drop them, right? But when they recovered the bomb, they found that 3 of the 4 had been activated. And it was just one cheap little low voltage switch that kept that bomb from nuking North Carolina.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Oof. Dang. That's too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way too close for comfort.
But you have to remember there's a second bomb.
Uh-huh. I remember.
Now, that second bomb, its parachute did not open.
Ooh, dang.
So at 12 feet and 10,000 pounds, it hit the ground at a whopping 700 miles per hour.
Whoa. Did it hit a house?
It landed in a swamp.
Ooh, how perfect.
Yeah, a marshy swamp.
Probably went straight to the center of the earth.
It went down a ways. So, yeah, you couldn't see it. It did create a crater.
Well, I would assume so, yeah.
Didn't explode.
Dang.
But just the speed of the impact of something that large.
What are the chances of it landing in a swamp?
Yeah.
Or like a marsh or whatever?
Not great, I would assume.
I know.
But I've never, I have been to North Carolina, but I don't know North Carolina very well. Maybe there's a lot of swampy marshes.
Maybe.
And so the Army sent a team out to try to dig up this nuclear warhead. And
let bygones be bygones?
Well, after 40 feet, they gave up.
How did they even get, I mean,
like excavators and...
Yeah, but like, anyway, okay.
But just the swamp was on, like you've watched Curse of Oak Island with me.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Like it's really hard digging in a swamp where water's just constantly coming back in. So the equipment was constantly getting stuck and they couldn't do anything.
I just can't figure out how they even got to 40 feet. Like I
dredging water, pumping out water nonstop. I don't know.
That's a big job.
So they found a whole bunch of parts of the bomb. The bomb obviously had broken when it hit the ground into many parts. They found lots of the explosives. They found a lot of the casings, but they never found the thermonuclear component.
Okay.
Full of uranium and plutonium, probably enriched in my hometown.
So they just left it there.
So they left it there, yeah. Sorry, I'm adjusting that a little bit. Since we moved all this over.
Oh, okay.
So they figured, they figured that the thermonuclear portion was about 180 feet below the ground. And they just couldn't get to it. So they thought, yep, we are just going to leave that there. So the government paid the local family $1,000 for their land.
Okay.
Their last name was Davis.
Really?
By the way. Yeah.
So was our person today. Davis is a common last name, you guys. In case you didn't know this, it's common.
We say that because our last name is Davis. And now the government just checks the local water periodically for radiation and hope that it never,
Like still?
Yeah.
To this day?
To this day.
Whose swamp was it?
The Davises.
But like, is it still the Davises?
No, the government bought it for $1,000.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, it was later.
So there's like the Davises had this.
Fence around
yeah, there's like a little fence around it. And the Davises don't get that part.
That's right.
$1,000. I feel like that's really cheap.
It is really cheap. So actually, it was like a year later, the Senate passed a thing
saying if
awarding them
drop your nuclear bomb, the government has to pay more than $1,000.
They awarded them an undisclosed amount of money for their property. So I assure they got paid off fairly well.
Do you think the government went in not telling them what was going on?
Sure. I bet.
And then once
a lot of these stories didn't come out till 30 years later, things like that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So each one of those bombs with those 3 to 4 megatons were equivalent to about 250 Hiroshima bombs.
Oh my goodness.
So
what on earth do you need to be flying this big of a just because this is too much?
Well, not if you're the government, apparently.
Well, so I'm hoping the government learned from their lesson here. They're like, yeah, this is a little overzealous.
Let's just fly them over Russia from now on.
No, let's just cut it back a little. Like, cut it back. Maybe just one.
Yeah. Well, who knows what they're doing?
Do you think they're still flying a whole bunch of them right now?
No.
You don't think they still do this?
No. I think our technology is a lot better.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh, the whole reason I thought about doing nukes is because of everything going on in the world right now. So if we're recording this, it will come out Tuesday, but we're recording this on, what day is it? Saturday.
Today is Saturday. Mm-hmm.
So if Israel bombs Iran, or Iran bombs Israel, Ukraine bombs Russia, Russia bombs Ukraine in the next 3 days, just know, for sensitivity purposes, we recorded this first.
Yes, we did. We did.
I don't think anyone's going to bomb anybody. Well, with nuclear bombs. There's going to be a lot of bombing going on.
Right.
So, you and I have been to Hiroshima.
Yes, we have.
We have seen the, what do they call that? The dome that's left. A-bomb dome.
Yep.
It's a structure that's still standing after getting nuked.
It's
because pretty much Hiroshima got leveled.
It's hard. It's a hard place to go.
It is hard.
Yeah.
They have a museum there, and the museum's a tough walkthrough.
Yeah.
There's like melted people, and
it's hard.
It's harsh.
It's hard. Yeah.
But interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah. It's hard.
We rode the bullet train there. That was cool.
We sure did. That bullet trains are always cool, no matter where you're going. They're just cool.
And they have really good. What is the food I like in Hiroshima? Okonomiyaki.
Okonomiyaki. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was yummy.
The fish flake one.
Yeah, fish flake.
I can't think of the name of them right now, but
delicious. So, like I said, so the U.S. lost that atomic bomb, but they know where it is.
Well, they didn't lose it, but I see what you're saying. Like, that's a lot of money.
Right. So there's 5 other times in history they legitimately lost an atomic bomb.
Right.
Like, you and I could go find the atomic bomb.
I don't want to.
Me either.
I want to steer clear of atomic bombness.
Okay. Well, let's go through a few of these other ones.
Okay, cool.
1968.
Okay.
A submarine, the USS Scorpion.
It's a good name.
Yeah. Sinks near Portugal.
Ooh, sad.
And it's either unknown or still just classified
as to how it sunk.
How it sunk. So it was carrying nuclear missiles.
Mm-hmm.
It's not sure if those missiles exploded while it was underwater.
How is that not sure?
Well, I'm sure the government knows.
Oh, I see. We're not
are
sure.
not privileged to know what happened to this.
I see what you're saying.
Now, the government says they don't know what happened to this sub, but
the government doesn't know.
Right. But I assume the government does know, and it's just too embarrassing of a story to tell or something like that.
I hope it wasn't like at their fault, But why Portugal, I'm wondering? Do we always have subs over by Portugal?
We got subs all over the place.
Huh. Just like hanging out?
Yeah.
Huh. Just always?
Always.
Huh?
The U.S. Navy is everywhere in the world at all times.
Huh.
That's kind of the joy of post-World War II globalism.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think of being on a submarine and I'm like, nope.
Well, I'm 6'4", so I don't like getting into a car, let alone a submarine.
It has nothing to do with height stuff at all for me, but yeah, I never thought about that too. The beds are probably like a half your height.
Yeah, I have no interest.
Okay.
But either way, nuclear missiles went missing with that sub.
Okay.
Either they're sitting at the bottom of the ocean, or they got blown up, or wherever that sub went, abducted by aliens, they got the nukes too.
Okay. Were there people on the sub?
Lots.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. I mean, a whole sub worth of people.
Well, I just didn't know if like maybe it was manned by like a, I guess back then probably, but like a robot,
No
autopilot.
robots.
I don't know. I feel like that would be better.
Lots of people.
Dang. Okay.
Okay. December 1965. This one's kind of strange to me.
Okay.
Fighter jet armed with a nuclear weapon.
Okay. But fighter jet fighting what? Nothing. They just fighter jets. Aren't those the ones that
like a F-18 or F-35 or
okay.
Now I don't know what they had in 1965.
Yeah.
Kind of fighter jets.
We're talking like Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Okay.
But way earlier.
Right. But I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is on an aircraft carrier and something happens and the airplane just rolls off and falls into the water.
They forgot to put it in park.
Well, there was a person in it.
They forgot to put the e-brake on?
Something like that.
Wait, are there brakes on these things?
I'm not sure how 1965.
There was a person in the
pilot
plane?
was in the plane. And he just slid right off the aircraft carrier. And within seconds was hundreds of feet below the water.
Well, because those, that is confusing to me too.
Yeah. But it too had a nuclear warhead on it.
Oof.
That went down with the plane and the pilot.
And just one person?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. This is bizarre.
Yeah. I read the official Navy report, and it's pretty matter of fact. Like, airplane number blah, 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 pulled out of the elevator onto deck, blah, 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 with pilot, blah, 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 and fell off. And that's about it. I mean, it's very, very...
Lots of tons of money.
Tons of money.
Tons of money. I mean, I can't even.
I'm sure somebody lost a job or...
Probably the
got
person
demoted.
that also lost their life.
Well, who knows? Maybe it was his fault. I mean, maybe it was one of the guys on the deck of the aircraft carrier.
I really don't even know.
I know my dad told me at one point when he was stationed in California. He was telling me this when we did our Alcatraz episode, because there's a Navy base right there that one of the Navy ships ran aground, and that captain got demoted real fast for running the boat.
How do you run the boat into? I mean, how you just don't stop it in time?
Well, not like onto shore, but like obviously there was a part where it was really shallow,
and they
hit that and got stuck.
Sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not good to mess up the military's
equipment.
Very expensive equipment, I guess.
One would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one that fell off the aircraft carrier happened off the coast of the Philippines.
Okay.
And it was a long time before the government officially released where that happened. And maybe even now they're lying about where that happened. But somewhere, in theory, off the coast of the Philippines, you could go find a big nuclear weapon sitting at the bottom of the ocean.
That had never been deactivated?
No, it was on this plane.
Well, so the plane that sunk, somehow the nuclear weapon got detached from it?
No, it's inside the plane.
You're saying the whole plane?
The whole plane rolled off the aircraft carrier.
No, I already follow that.
Okay.
What can you see off the coast of the Philippines?
Well, I'm saying somewhere this plane is off the coast of the Philippines.
I thought you said that they could see this plane.
Oh, no.
Or not the plane, the weapon off the coast of the...
If you could see it, I think they would have grabbed it.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, wait, are they too afraid to move it because they're afraid it would detonate it because it's corroded or something? Or how did it come detached from the plane to get to the coast? I thought you could see it. I'm sorry.
No.
So,
but if you're a crazy terrorist organization, there's a bomb waiting for you somewhere off the coast of the Philippines. If you can find it.
Yeah, but you're not going to find it.
You're not going to find it.
No.
And it's probably so buried under silt and stuff now.
But at some point, wouldn't it start
leaking radioactive material? Possibly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just figure that out when it happens?
I mean, in general, nukes have some inherent risks.
You don't say.
I don't.
Okay. All right.
So how many is that? 3-ish?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay.
But they're not just missing nuclear weapons. They are missing airplanes. When you're saying lost, I was thinking actually you can't find it. This is
they misinventoried their bomb in a bunker?
Yeah, you can't find it. I wasn't thinking what's the other kind of loss? I was this kind of loss. It's different. You know where it is, you just can't get it.
Yes.
Like
Right.
it's stuck in a swamp.
Right.
You know, you can't get it.
They're
Stuck
misplaced. Nuclear warheads.
Yeah, it's a good way of saying it. Sure.
All right. So next one, February 1958,
Okay.
a B-47 bomber
Yep.
flying a routine mission over Georgia. And part of this mission, it had fighter planes around it, like in formation around it.
Okay.
Well, one of those fighter planes accidentally bumped into the B-47. And again, you might find this surprising.
That's not a good idea.
No, planes hitting each other in midair.
It's a bad idea.
No bueno.
Yeah. So what happened?
The pilot of the fighter jet was able to successfully eject and survived.
Wow.
That plane did not survive. But the B-47 was going to go down just much slower. And so they had to make an emergency landing, but it was determined that their plane was too heavy for the situation they were in. So they had to lighten their payload.
Deploy the weapons.
And so they got permission to drop the nuke because, as we've already seen,
They're very heavy.
they're very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were given permission to drop it off the coast of Georgia. And they did. But then they were never could find where it landed.
But so it's somewhere in the ocean.
In theory, it's somewhere in the ocean off the coast of Savannah.
Savannah, huh?
Yep.
And so did, choosing to lose that weapon help them land at least safely? Like, I mean, enough.
I'm only talking about the bombs here.
Oh.
No, I do think they landed, yeah.
Okay, good.
And if not, we're going to say they did.
And who is the lucky person that gets to make that decision?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, detonate or release the bomb. And you really don't have like time
No.
in these situations. Very little time, actually. And your reaction time is essential in this situation like this. So it's kind of amazing to me. Like when you say they got permission, I'm like, did they really? Or did they just make that decision and then they got forgiveness after? Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, they dropped it.
Well, sure. So there's a lot of like nuclear stuff in the ocean.
Yeah, there is, especially over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
No one drops them on us up here in the Northwest.
Yeah. It's too
But
cold.
we enrich the plutonium.
Too cold, maybe? I'm just kidding.
It wasn't cold today.
Oh, I just mean the water.
Oh, maybe. We don't have nearly as many military bases.
No, we don't. But I wonder if that's because it's too cold or I don't know why.
I don't know why. So, March 1956, another B-47 bomber carrying 2 nuclear bombs was flying over the Mediterranean Sea. It did get refueled mid-air
Okay.
in our Air Force. We do have an Air Force base here in Spokane, and that is their specialty, is
Refueling?
mid-air refueling.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
what they do. So it got refueled, and then it was simply never seen or heard from again.
I don't know what that means.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle. It just disappeared. Assumingly it crashed somewhere, but they don't know where.
But there's
or
like no
why.
communication or anything then? Like wasn't there still air traffic?
Yeah. And then there's definitely radio and stuff, but yeah, they don't know what happened to it.
Well, that's
So,
bizarre.
At least to this day, the government has never disclosed what has happened to it. But its 2 nuclear warheads have never been accounted for. I think aliens abducted it mid-flight.
Oh, for sure. I was actually going towards more like they crashed.
Why would you think that?
For some reason, maybe they didn't radio, which is maybe the radio was broken. I don't know. The whole thing does seem weird, though. But
I think aliens makes way more sense.
they went
than
just straight into the Mediterranean Sea, and you never heard from them again. That's it. That's all what happened. It's not an alien thing.
Your story's boring.
Well, yours is not warranted. Yep.
Well, I think the government would say they crashed. I don't think the government would disclose they got abducted.
Oh, maybe not. That's probably true.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where they are, but neither does the U.S. government.
So there you go.
Yeah. So those are. Oh, there's one more.
It would be interesting, like, as if you ever became the president of
I will not.
No. Like whoever you is out there, and you could learn about all the classified stuff. I mean, it would take you years to probably read through all the classified things of the past, but you would probably have access to it, would you not?
Sure. Unless you really do believe in like a deep state that is bigger than the government and holds real secrets, close to the chest. Like the CIA, like lifers in the CIA. But in theory, yes.
And
so that's why I think both Trump
reading.
and Biden have been caught with classified documents in their personal homes.
Yeah.
I think they're just reading up on all the cool stuff.
Well, that's what I would do. I'm like, in my reading, forget my novels. I'd be like, I'm just going to read the last
read about
decade.
the JFK assassination.
Yeah, I'm just going to read about all the things.
Yeah, I'm going to read about Roswell.
But then you must be sworn to oath to never even repeat that stuff, even once you're out of office. I don't know how I got on this tangent, but it would still be classified, right? Oof. Maybe they don't let you.
I don't know.
Maybe it dies with the people that knew it at
I
the
have
moment.
about as much interest in being president and knowing those things as I do. I don't know what.
But I'm just,
off the Golden
these
Gate
are all
Bridge.
like hypothetical thoughts, not like I want to do this. I'm just thinking maybe it's meant to die with the people that know it. Like once it's classified and with whoever knows about it, it's like kind of just a closed situation. And
yeah,
I don't know.
it's funny why. The question too is, why do you classify things? For a lot of it, probably national security reasons, but a lot of it, at least the old stuff that
CYA.
is declassified, exactly. It's just because it was a giant mess and embarrassing, or they did nasty things or illegal things.
If you don't know I'm sure everyone knows what CYA is. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a story we might do someday, an episode on.
Don't say it.
Okay, I won't say it. Someday we might do an episode on this thing, guys.
Well, something that's classified, obviously.
But it was essentially like a 40-year-long
classified
experiment where the government was purposely giving people the deadly disease to see what, even after a cure for it was around, just because they wanted to see. And of course, they picked poor, uneducated black men to do it.
Oof, that's terrible.
So that was classified for years.
But it's now unclassified.
Now it's unclassified.
Declassified?
Yeah, and all
Who
sorts
goes through that process of declassifying?
Well, I mean, you can do like a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act.
Interesting.
So most things that are declassified come from that.
Is it like a statute of limitations? Like, okay, it can only be classified for 20 years?
No, maybe something like that. If the government still doesn't want you to know, they're still not going to let you know. Or they'll release it with the FOIA, but they'll redact parts they still don't want you to know about.
I need to ask your dad about this stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like just being in the military, I feel like he might know a little bit more of kind of those rules or those semantics that how you know and don't know. I bet you, because some of the stuff he says he can never tell us. But I'm like, I bet you now he probably could, because some of it has been declassified.
That could be true.
So it's got to have a good heart to heart with your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I like talking to him about this stuff.
So, but yeah, it would be interesting why things are or not. Here's another good one for you.
Okay, tell me.
March 1950, the United States of America lost another nuclear warhead and almost nuked Canada.
Ooh, dang. So
you heard of that place?
Does Canada know that this happened?
I'm sure they do. If I know about it, I'm sure Canada knows about it.
So do you have more to the story?
I do.
Oh, I want to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a bomber was flying over Alaska.
But that's the United States.
That is the United States. In between Canada and Russia, if you don't know where Alaska is.
Yep.
It is between those two places.
Okay.
It was carrying a very large nuclear warhead.
Okay.
When it had not one or two, but 3 engine failures. I think it was that cold Santa Claus winds.
Yeah, that's a rough go, though.
Yeah. So because they were so close to Russia, and this was, the height of the Cold War. This is 1950. So we're just 4 years out of World War II.
Right.
At this point, Russia didn't have
Nuclear.
nukes, really. There was, they might have, but they were very much in the process of still trying to develop their own nuclear program. So the U.S. government was like, there is no way that plane can crash and that bomb is somewhere on land that close to Russia.
The plane can crash.
Like, you are not allowed
no
to
matter
crash
what.
that plane on land.
That's an order.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Because the Russians will get there before we get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Or potentially. And we can't give them this technology. So the pilot was ordered, before you can crash your plane, you have to drop that bomb into the ocean. Then you can go crash your plane wherever you want.
We really care about you, but get rid of the nuke
that bomb
first.
Yeah. And so they did. So this is a big plane. It's 17 crew on it.
That is pretty big.
Yeah. And so they put the plane on autopilot. All 17 crewmen jump out, leaving the plane to crash. Now, the plane does crash into the side of Mount Kalajit.
Okay.
You ever heard of that?
Nope.
It's in BC. There's a million mountains in BC. So
it's not one that I know
and it's
of.
like, I looked it up. It's like
dad
halfway up BC. So it's pretty, halfway up BC sounds like halfway, but that means it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it really is.
So it crashed there. These poor guys, they jumped out into minus 40-degree weather.
Oof.
12 of them were rescued. The 5 that were not, they assume landed in the water.
Oof.
So there is some evidence that they were close enough to drop this bomb into the water, but no one really knows
What?
where they dropped it,
Right.
or if they had time to drop it, or if it crashed with the plane. But these 12 were, like I said, shockingly, they survived.
Yeah. That is pretty impressive. Minus 40.
Minus 40.
Ain't no joke.
Coming off of a parachute
Yeah.
into the wilderness of BC
Yeah.
in 1950.
Oof.
One of them.
I'm sure they have survival skills.
Still, there's only so much you can do.
That's true.
One of them landed in a tree. He was found hanging upside down from his parachute with a broken ankle, still in the tree. So they got there pretty quick.
Yeah, they did.
If he was upside down, he
you
still
can't
wasn't
last that long upside down,
at minus 40 degrees.
Well, and a broken ankle. Gosh, that's a lot of things.
So they don't know. So there could be a nuclear bomb sitting in BC.
Yeah.
In a snowy field on a mountain somewhere.
And that's hard to know, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if BC ever just erupts, we'll know why.
Good to know. I'm glad it was BC and not like Alberta.
Yeah. You would be.
I'm just kidding. It's sad all around, no matter what.
So here's the interesting thing. So there's 6 times that these nukes have been lost, right?
Yep.
But all of them, the last one that's reported is in 1968. So it's hard for me to believe that in 23 years, since the end of World War II, they lost 6 nukes, but not a single time since then.
They've just decided to stop telling
I think
people.
they've just decided we're not going to talk about when we lose our nuclear weapons anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
So, have you ever seen the movie Broken Arrow? Came out probably in the mid to late 90s.
I have no idea.
I saw it when I was in like 7th grade. I don't remember much about it other than Jack Black gets his arm blown off by like an M60.
Oof. Okay. Jack Black's in it.
This is like pre-famous Jack Black.
I have no idea.
Like, he's just up and coming.
I don't think I've seen this movie, no.
I think it had, what's his name? Who played, he was in the Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie, but not Kevin Costner.
Christian Slater?
Yes. Christian Slater, I believe, was in it.
I loved that movie growing up.
The Robin Hood Prince of Thieves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hated the sheriff. I really hated him.
That was what's his face, right?
Professor Snape,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Ugh. He's so nasty. But
I just remember
I really like that movie.
threatening to cut your heart out with a spoon. As a little kid, that was potent. So, anyway, I didn't know this until I did this episode. A broken arrow is a official term for a mishap with a nuclear weapon.
Okay, maybe I have seen this. Okay. Well,
Anyways, so besides losing 6 nukes, the U.S. government has admitted to 32 broken arrow events.
So that means they are
Accidents with nukes, accidentally blowing up nukes they weren't supposed to.
But it doesn't necessarily mean those were all detonated.
Right.
It just means they went awry.
Right.
Okay.
So, for example, in 1957, a bomber was transporting a nuke. This is funny. When suddenly the bomb bay doors just open up. Like they have a mechanical... And maybe this is why they don't lose so much anymore, because everything's controlled with computers now. It's not like literal mechanical functions in airplanes.
Yeah, that's like terrifying.
But this bomb bay door opens. There goes the nuke. And they're like, oh, shoot, dang. I think we just lost something.
But it's so weird to me. How does it just open? If it was locked...
Yeah, so there was some kind of mechanism that was not done correctly.
It just like wiggled and
Yeah,
then just
I don't know.
came undone or something? Goodness.
So this nuke falls, lands in a field just outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and explodes.
Oh.
Creates a giant crater, but the nuclear device does not explode.
Oh.
So the bomb explodes, but the nuke doesn't.
How have we gotten so lucky? I feel like this is amazing.
We've tried to bomb ourselves at least 3 times.
Gosh.
In Canada once.
Goodness gracious.
So, but that bomb, so the ones that landed in North Carolina, I said were 250 times the size of Hiroshima?
I think so. That's what you said. Yeah.
This bomb was 650 times the size of Hiroshima. Now, granted, if you're going to pick a state to nuke, New Mexico is probably a good one.
No, none of them are good. None of them are good.
I've driven through New Mexico. Most of the time, you'd be safe. There's nothing there.
No, but still the fallout and
It did kill a cow when it hit. There was one cow that died. But that's
Only
better than
one
650 Hiroshima-style bombs going off.
That's really funny. They actually noted.
There's probably some farmer who wanted his
$1,000.
compensation, man,
Yeah, he
for
did.
his cow.
Yeah, he did. It was probably like his prized show cow,
Yeah. Well, now it'll be in history forever. The only cow that we killed by a nuke that didn't go off.
Not a real nuke, just by a bomb.
Yeah. So, 1968, a bomber with 4 nuclear bombs left New York heading to Greenland when a fire broke out on the plane. See, all these planes, like there are gas leaks and there's fires and...
Interesting.
They didn't build them back then like they do now, man.
No, they sure didn't.
Well, actually, our planes are falling apart all over in the skies. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But so the plane actually does crash in Greenland. And when the plane hits the ground, the bombs all go off. But again, not the nuclear capsules.
It's kind of amazing.
But they do leak. And it creates a giant contaminated area.
Is it still there?
No. So the U.S. and Norway who controls Greenland?
I have no idea.
I think it was Norway. Finland. Maybe Finland. Anyways, someone in the U.S. both spent like 4 months on this massive cleanup project. And it's still, I'm sure, a sticky spot for conservationists and things.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
But it was a big ecological problem. Last one we'll talk about real quick. 1956. A bomber has a bad landing in England at an Air Force base. Skids off the end of the runway.
Is this still U.S.? Or is this
no.
actual
This
British?
is British.
Okay.
But they skid off of the runway, crash into a storage facility that has 3 nuclear bombs in it. Now, those nuclear bombs are U.S. nuclear bombs
Oh, interesting.
being stored.
Yeah. In
England.
England.
So, and it is a bad crash. Actually, all of the crew on the plane died. But it runs into this thing, severely damages all 3 of the warheads. They have to be sent back to the U.S. to be fixed, where they're like, it's a miracle these didn't explode.
Yeah. Transporting those. The process to do all this was just freaky.
Yeah. So that's just a few of our nice run-ins.
Just a few.
But it is amazing. I mean, in what year is it? So we've got 80 years, and we've almost nuked ourselves many times.
Yeah.
We almost started a giant war over the Bay of Pigs with Cuba. Like, seconds away from nuclear annihilation. Right now, we could be on the verge of nuclear annihilation.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying.
So, but luckily we've been pretty good not to accidentally bomb anybody.
Or ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I just can't imagine that it's magically gotten that much better. I just think probably they don't report it as much because, I mean, we're just human and there's just things that don't work out. But you're probably right with the computer, like taking over kind of a lot of those little things. And there's probably, because of all these situations that have happened in the past, like many safeguards,
Right.
I mean, I've heard from Trayson when he goes in to get into work and get out of work. I mean, there's like 10 checkpoints that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's probably the same way when you're transporting and when you're, much safer now, more conscientious of all the little things.
So 2 thoughts on my end. 1, I still think aliens are coming down and taking a lot of the nuclear weapons.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
2, U.S. should scrap all nuclear stuff and just build Iron Man suits.
Amen. I mean, there's nothing else
That
I can
would
say.
solve all of our problems.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Because those suits getting into the wrong hands would not be a bad thing at all. I mean, like, haven't you seen the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
They're great.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go watch Broken Arrow.
I got that.
Parts of me, not right this minute, but like parts of me feel like I have seen that. So
I feel like there was another cool part. I could be mixing these movies up where like they do something bad with like a black van and then it has like this special paint and they hose it off and all of a sudden it's like now a white van and then they drive off so people don't know.
Oh,
and I was like, as a little kid, I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's so cool. If I don't watch Broken Arrow, I now feel like I need to watch Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's what I need to do.
I wonder if Bryan Adams did a song for both.
That's something to look into.
I mean, I know he did not, but
I'm just kidding. I think that was his. I mean, he was popular in Canada. Go figure. But I think that was his big song.
So it's funny. I feel like that was his big song too. But you hear Summer '69 like way more.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
I haven't heard that song. I can't even think what it's called right now. Everything I do for you. When at first I had the Bodyguard song come in my head when I was
very different. No, wrong movie.
Yeah. But also Kevin Costner.
That's true. Yeah. Also Kevin Costner. Good point.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is a correlation there. So, being Canadian, I was just thinking about this. I know every word to the Alanis Morissette song.
She only has one?
Well, she only has one, but I know
she
every.
has many.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, so to many of Canadian artist songs, and it's because in Canada there is a law. I don't know what percentage, 30%, something like that.
I'm not Canadian. I don't know.
I know. I don't remember that. You have to play musical artists that often on the radio.
Canadian artists.
Canadian artists, yes. And so because there's only so many Canadian artists, you hear those artists many, many, many times.
Dude, if you go to Canada today and you go to the grocery store, I promise you will hear at least 3 of the following 5 people on the radio. Bare Naked Ladies, Nickelback, Alanis Morissette, Bryan Adams.
Shania Twain.
So you could throw in Shania Twain. I'm trying to think what the last one I wanted to throw in was.
Well, I mean.
Shania would be good. Maybe Celine Dion.
Celine Dion.
You would hear one of those bands.
Yeah. But it's just funny. I was thinking about Bryan Adams. Like, I was thinking in my head, I don't hear it that often like I used to growing up. And then I was like, nope, it's because I used to live in Canada. That's why. Yeah. It was just this thought process that I was having while I was on air. And I just shared it right with you. So you're welcome.
There you go. Well, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Be safe. Be kind. Don't nuke people.
I was going to say, don't lose your nuke.
Don't lose your nukes.
Yep.
If you want to go check us out on YouTube, please do. We would love it. It's slow over there, but it's growing little by little.
Yeah.
I don't know how YouTube works. Like
I don't either.
This is nicely produced.
The
it's got an
algorithms
intro.
show you.
It's got all the stuff. The YouTube channel is definitely, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's super fun. And I really don't care. But
he does care
because
he would love for you to go and
go like it, share it, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. If you want to see what we look like, you can do that. But yeah, it is very amateur hour over there.
So just
Which I enjoy,
be
though.
gracious.
Yeah.
Don't judge.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful week. And we will talk to you next week. We're out. Bye.
Bye.